We recently got back from Valuation Expo where we had a lot of first-time attendees. It was really great seeing so many new faces. Coming up, we sit down with a first-time attendee and ask them what they thought and let them give us a little bit of feedback. Stick around.
ACI introduces ACI Sky Workbench, a cutting-edge cloud-based platform designed to streamline UR/AR appraisal report generation like never before. With seamless workflow integration, automated data management, and built-in compliance, Workbench empowers appraisers to work smarter, faster, and with greater accuracy. Visit aciweb.com for more info. You're listening to the Appraisal Buzzcast with your host, Hal Humphreys.
Welcome to today's Appraisal Buzzcast. I'm Jim Morrison, and our host is Hal Humphreys. Let me bring him back in. Hey, Hal, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Jim, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Well, we are really excited to talk with our guest today. We recently met her at Valuation Expo in person. It's someone we hadn't talked with before. But let me bring in Megan Johnson-Judd. Hey, Megan, how are you doing?
Hey, gang, I'm great. How are you?
Doing fantastic. Megan, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. I thought it would be kind of fun to turn the tables and put the microphone in your face for a change.
Yes, tit for tat.
Let's do this. Tell me how you got into this crazy world of real estate appraisal.
I was super young. I was a student at UCF going for my art history degree because, I had so many plans to do something with that. And I wound up losing my job where I was waiting tables, and I started working in an appraisal office as a grunt in the back office back in the days when we were pulling the books and doing the research and delivering appraisals because email didn't exist. And I just was like, this is kind of cool. And it derailed everything.
It is kind of cool. My father was an appraiser, so I came to this the old-fashioned way through the family. So I'm always intrigued when people stumble into this business. And I like that origin story, coming from an art history background, waiting tables, and then finding yourself in the real estate appraisal business. That's pretty fun. Do you still get to play around with art history and art and stuff like that?
Yeah, absolutely. And the cool thing is I kind of went with, I was stuck between art history and humanities because I'm really a writer. I've always been a writer. So, I consider this appraisal business to be kind of technical writing, so to say. Yeah. But no, I'm an art collector, and, we get to spend all of our time and lives in our small cities where we live promoting, different artists and nice. Galleries and things like that. So we love it.
Very nice. Yeah. There was a magazine back in the day for real estate appraisers called The Communicator, and it kind of talked about the job of a real estate appraiser is to communicate. And the way we do that is through the written word primarily. That's we articulate our research, our analysis, our findings, our conclusions, and I think that's one of the key things that we as appraisers do is communicate, and I think having that writing background is really important. Megan, let me ask
absolutely.
you.
I almost think that would probably be the best number one descriptor of me in general, is that I am just a natural born, probably to a lot of people in my life, an over communicator.
All right, so you've got this huge Facebook group, about 10,000 members, called Appraisal Basics. How did this group come into existence? Who is the audience for your group? And what kind of topics do you guys cover in your Facebook group?
Well, it is really very simple. The name is not misleading. I started it maybe 8 or 9 years ago when I was really frustrated with a realtor who was in my market. And, we all see, most of us have the same issues in our lives every day that just repeat themselves over and over again. And the one that was killing me was these are basic appraisal principles that appraisal users don't understand. Let's just have a forum where people can ask the question, and get a straight answer. And so a lot of times we wind up recycling some of the same old questions, which I'm happy to do. What constitutes living area? What should the adjustment for a pool be, and things like that. And so we do a lot of that. The group is made up, I would say, pretty evenly between realtors and appraisers.
Okay.
But then we also have some other appraisal users in there. A lot of homeowners come in and ask the questions, and we've got attorneys and lenders in there too. But for the most part, it's mostly appraisers and realtors. And I love that we're able to just have open discourse and dialogue. And I mean, I don't do it alone. I've got all of these appraisers in there who are nationwide internet famous. I met with Howard Clark last night. He's in town, he's in Orlando, and he's someone that I end up, working with all the time. And so it's a great communication tool. And I did it years ago, and it evolved completely naturally, even over several years with me being uninvolved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden overnight, I'm looking at it, it's like 7,000 people. And I'm like, oh, I got to kind of get a handle on this.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. And one of the things that I like about the notion of your Facebook group is, there's some, I'm generally speaking, not a fan of social media. I am on social media in some form. But the Facebook thing, a lot of times you see someone ask an innocent question to a group of appraisers, and somebody comes back with, you should have died when you were a child. How did you ever get your appraisal license? You should have been smothered in your crib. And it's like, it's really nice to see a group of people that will get together and answer questions and not be snarky like that. So thank you for what you do there.
And it happens, but I'm a grown-up.
Yeah.
And I get to go delete, and I do, because the rest of the world has plenty of space for that. That's not what this group is.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's switch gears and talk about Valuation Expo. Your first time there this year. What were your thoughts on the show? What was your favorite part of your trip to Las Vegas?
I absolutely loved the show. I was a first timer, and I'm going to be really honest. I'm kind of new in the conference sphere altogether. My first ever conference that I attended for me in my profession was just LDAC in May. Okay. So this was my second, but really my first traditional conference, to be quite honest, and I loved it. I would say that my favorite part about it, because of technology, and since COVID, we're all Zooming and talking to each other all the time and having these meetings, I got to meet people that I feel like I know really well, but have never even been in the same room with. And so to be able to meet people, the networking it's just primo. So if you're worried about, where you're going to go, if you've got all these nerves about what the new forms are going to do and what AI is going to do, I mean, those are the two big things that everybody's really worried about, then I feel like conferences are the absolute perfect place to brainstorm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the networking aspect is, obviously, we provide continuing education opportunities, pre-conference, post-conference, pre-conference, but the key is the networking, getting to meet face-to-face people that you've seen on online forums, people that you've heard about, people you've seen writing articles, those kind of things. Like, there's nobody at Val Expo that's too important to take a few minutes and chat with an appraiser. So I think that's a really good thing.
Right. That's the whole point, right? Yeah. It's like you kind of get to carve out. I mean, I got to talk with you and interview you. I got to talk with Peter Christensen on the side. And, all it took was, I grabbed you. I had kind of always assumed that you were going to be too busy for me to get time with. But, I preemptively reached out to Peter and a few other people that I know online and stuff. So that was really fantastic. But I'm a huge believer in just energy. Yeah. And stimulating parts of your brain and having conversations that maybe you haven't had, but you should have. And those are the perfect places for that.
Yeah, I love it. All right. So of all the sessions, which one do you think offered the most insight for appraisers?
Ooh, you can't make me pick one because there were a million. I think that I was probably the most shocked, impressed, and inspired by Tony Moss. I would like to be in her sphere, both physically and just professionally. The fact that she mentioned many times that data is being erased and that science is being discounted multiple times. I like that she took what is absolutely a risk because nobody else is talking about how weird everything is. It's not normal. And so it let me take a breath and go, okay, I'm in a room full of people who really want to get down to business and who really want to talk about what we're facing. I mean, I'm in Florida and North Carolina, Western North Carolina, just outside of Asheville. And so environmental impacts are here. They're here. And so when she was talking about what we're going to do, how we're going to consider, say, how insurance rates impact your monthly overhead from potentially one street to the next.
Yeah.
I have goosebumps. Like,
Yeah. And I did have an encounter with an appraiser who walked out of the room and said, "I'm just sick of all this this politics, this political stuff." And I'm like, I don't think this is politics. I think this is factual information. And the interesting thing is, the appraiser came back to me with, "Well, this is global warming, and it's a discussion about things that aren't proven." I'm like, here's the thing: if the insurance companies see this as a risk, it doesn't matter what I believe. It doesn't matter what Megan believes. The insurance companies are going to say, we're not going to cover these homes. And that definitely has the potential to have an extreme impact on value.
absolutely.
If you can't get insurance, you're likely not going to be able to get a mortgage. And these are things that we as appraisers have to observe, have to analyze, have to see what it means, and then report on those things. Let me ask you this, Megan. Did you get any valuable insights about the rollout of UAD 3.6 that helped you out already, or that have gotten your mind right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the most important thing I got out of it was the fact that, this isn't a form. It's a question and response type situation. And you really are, it's actually going to be more simple, right? So it's going to lead you where you need to go.
Yeah.
And so that actually, I found that to be a huge relief. I hadn't done a whole lot of research before. I'm not worried about it. I've been doing this for long enough that I've been through several actual form changes. I mean, the introduction of UAD to begin with, everybody lost their minds when the 1004 MC came around. And come on, guys, we can do hard things, and this isn't even a hard thing. We got this.
Yeah. Just as an appraiser, there's a lot of worry about the UAD 3.6 being the end for appraisers. As someone who's embraced this change and tried to get as much information as possible, what does appraising look like for the appraisers in the next couple of years? And I'm going to ask this question with the caveat. When I got into this business, my dad said, "Oh, you don't want to do this. There won't be appraisers in 10 years." That was 30 some odd years ago. So,
of course, I remember those discussions.
What does it look like in a few years for appraisers?
I am excited because I think we're finally getting away from, and because I am a linguist and a communicator, it's important to me. I think we are finally getting away from it being a job or a career and being a profession. Yeah. What I would love to see is the bar go higher personally. And I would love to see us being treated almost like actuaries or someone, I think that we are being presented with an opportunity to refine our value to the globe. And if you look at it that way, I think that there's room for you. I think that everybody has the ability to craft this in a way that will be well accepted.
Yeah.
But I do think that complacency and box checking and skating by is going to go away. And quite honestly, that's fine. It's just how we evolve.
That's not going to work anymore.
Right? Evolution is a known. Like we have to evolve, right? And progress always wins. So I am an optimist and I love looking at this, like I said, as an opportunity to embrace the change, better myself, and move forward.
I love it. I need to do one thing. I've got to hear from one of our commercial sponsors, and we will be right back.
LIA Administrators and Insurance Services, serving valuation professionals since 1978. We provide E&O insurance with a commitment to superior customer service, outstanding liability education, and unmatched claim defense. Explore our exclusive appraiser liability education by Peter Christensen and cost-effective seminars designed to foster your growth. Our underwriters, with an average of 26 years of experience each, are dedicated to supporting appraisers. Visit liability.com to discover how LIA can safeguard your business.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Appraisal Buzzcast. I'm Hal Humphreys, your host. I'm joined today by Megan Johnson Judd. She was a first-time attendee at Val Expo this year, and we were so glad to see you at the conference, number one. Number two, thank you for taking the time to track me down and chat with me for your podcast. I appreciate that. I love being on the other end of the microphone. I want to warn you, Megan, Jim Morrison, our producer, does this thing where he comes at us with an anonymous appraiser question that is designed to make me look like an idiot. So Jim Morrison, do we have an anonymous appraiser question that we could ask with an actual expert in the room, Megan, to kind of provide a little bit of a foil for me?
Yeah, absolutely. And if anyone has any comments for our guests in the future, reach out to us at comments@appraisalbuzz.com or put something in the comments below this video. This one says, I recently did a new construction where they bought 4 parcels. One of the parcels is non-contiguous, but it is in the legal description of the property. I was asked to appraise. The lender now wants a value about the non-contiguous lot. I said, sure, for a fee, as the job was a pain in the... and I did it 3 months ago. A new value will take some time and energy, and I'm swamped. They said USPAP does not allow valuing non-contiguous parcels, and the appraisal was done wrong. Is this correct? I can't find any USPAP mentions in the rules in regards of non-contiguous. I've done properties where they own on 2 sides of the road all the time with no issues. Can anyone with more knowledge or experience confirm whether or not I've violated USPAP or some other rule?
You have not violated USPAP. I can say that right off the bat. USPAP has no prohibition about appraising non-contiguous properties. I think the lender is absolutely wrong about that. Megan, your insights on this question?
Yeah, and it's making me think I need to write something about the difference between, or understanding the difference between maybe Fannie Mae and GSE guidelines and USPAP, because I know a lot of people who stick with lender work kind of muddle all of that together. Yeah. But no, absolutely, USPAP only requires that you explain what you're doing and provide the support for your conclusions. Yeah. So it's also not even a Fannie Mae issue. The only thing I can think of that would be a Fannie Mae issue is Fannie Mae has said that you can't take a larger parcel, say a 5-acre parcel, cut out a piece of it. They want to know what all is there. But this to me just sounds like a matter of someone trying to get new information for free. Yeah. The fact that the subject property identification is changing is a new report, and charge accordingly.
Yeah, I have zero problem with that. If I'm an appraiser and a bank comes back and says, oh, you've done this wrong, you've breached USPAP, and I know that they're wrong about that, I would say, no, I haven't, number one. GSE lender requirements, maybe the lender has a requirement in-house that they don't lend on non-contiguous properties. That's the lender's problem, not my problem. And I would say it's a new assignment. I'm happy to address that. It's a new assignment. I will say to the appraiser, as if I were on the lender side and you said that one is a real pain in the, I don't really care how difficult it was, charge accordingly for your time. But I think the appraiser is absolutely spot on in the right. They have not violated USPAP. They don't need to worry about that. Go back to your client and say, hey, you want this done as a separate property? Happy to do it.
Yeah, and surely the market conditions have changed if it's over 3 months. But I think we all have had lender clients who either try to get something reassigned. They're trying to save their client money so they look like a hero, and that's all well and good, but we don't get paid enough to fall on a sword, for that guy. So I think this person just needs to go ahead, and it's all a matter of business. I mean, you could charge them a little bit less because maybe you don't have to do a new inspection, or you've already measured the house, so maybe that'll save you a few minutes. But all in all, I mean, it's a whole new assignment.
Yeah, I love it. Jim Morrison, do we have anything else we need to cover today?
No, great job on that. We really appreciate your input. Megan, it was great meeting you in person. I'm so glad that we've gotten you to come to Valuation Expo, and hope we see you there next year.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, if we don't have anything else, for Jim Morrison and Megan Johnson Judd, I'm Hal Humphreys, and that is your Appraisal Buzzcast for this week.